There is this pandemic. I'm going to call it pandemic because it seems like an infectious disease of men borrowing me money. And I want to talk about it today. I hope it will be taken in a, to be honest, I don't care how it's taken by men who borrow women money. I've been seeing people talk about it, but it's never really happened to me until recently. And I want to tell you guys a story. Maybe you can tell me if I'm overreacting, overthinking, but I think I'm at a point in my life where I truly, truly trust my intuition and I don't question the feelings that I have within me because I know the difference between being anxious and my body telling me something is wrong. Yesterday, I was at a recording at the Dialogues with Jagero Studios, and this guy calls me out of nowhere. This is someone I've not spoken to in years. And if we've spoken in between, it's in passing. This is someone I knew from 5, 6 years ago. We're not close. We don't hang out. We don't talk. I don't even think we follow each other on social media. And I didn't even have the number, but I pick all the calls, especially from numbers I don't know, because I don't know, it could be business, could be something serious. So if I think the call is a money call, I'm definitely going to pick it up. I picked up and this guy's like, hey, he seemed a bit timid, a bit not sure of himself. I could read this from his voice immediately. I picked up the call. How are you? He said, hi, Bobby. How are you? And I said, hi, how may I help you? And he said, it X. Let's say his name is X. And I was like, oh, I was a bit shocked because why would he call me? But it's okay. People from my past call me all that. Okay, sometimes. And I don't mind a little tete a tete, catching up kidogo. I was like, hey, I was thinking maybe he has something important to tell me. I don't know, because it must be, I don't want to use the word urgent, but it must be of significance for you to take the time to call someone that you hardly ever speak with. And I let him keep, saying what he wanted to say. I asked him, how may I help you? And he said, so I'm I'm at Langata police station. I've been caught yet again. He added the yet again, yet again on in a lower voice. And then he proceeded to say, I've been caught and they want me to give them 50,000 shillings. I've been able to call up a few friends and save up to 27,000 shillings. And I'd be really grateful if you showed up for me in whatever way you can. The right thing for me to do would have been to be honest with him, but I don't think he needed me to put him down. In case he was already in a very vulnerable state, like Ako down, it wasn't the time for me to start giving him a lecture, like all the feelings I had. But I want to talk about the feelings I had right now because, of course, I couldn't tell him that. I don't know. I'm still a kind person at the end of the day. So I wasn't going to start telling him, why would you call me, blah, blah, blah. But what I felt, first of all, that was a big red flag because of all the people he could have called, why me? We're not close. We don't speak. He's never helped me with anything. He's never done anything for me. He's never even, something I normally check when I'm showing up for people. I think this is a human thing. It's very subconscious. I mean, it's not always intentional at tit for tat, because if you're giving and if you're helping, it has to come from a selfless point of view. But there's, when people are in your life actively, there's an expectation, a silent expectation. It could be loud and bold, but there's just that expectation of supporting each other, showing up for each other. This is someone who's never, at least I've never seen any, even sharing a link of my work, telling people to check out my stuff, yani, even in the simplest of ways, or even offered me encouragement. I see what you're doing, or even just decided to stay in my life as a friend. This is someone I don't talk to. We don't have a rapport where we can borrow each other money. It's not something that has ever happened in our lives. So for him to call me, that was a bit weird. And he said, that's why I'm calling with you with this number. It's not my usual number. So if you could please just send me the number to this. And I'm thinking, how did he have my number if he's not using his usual phone? For 5 years, he's crammed my number. That's crazy. And I thought, why? Why would, he's a man, he's way older than me. At this point, he should have connections and a solid system from people where he can get this money from. And if at all it was genuine, then I don't know. I just feel like he should go to people who he talks to, people who are actually his friends, people who encourage and support him. I mean, I also have my own life. I also have things that need money. I'm also doing my own things. I don't have money lying around waiting to help bail out men I've not talked to in 5 years. And that was a huge, huge red flag to me. By the way, this pissed me off because why, of all people, me? What is it about me that says I'm willing to give someone who I don't talk to money unless it's for a charity case, or someone who, someone who's not my friend, someone I don't know, unless it's charity, ngomo. I try not to involve money. And even when people reach out to me for help, let's say on Instagram or Twitter, and say, I haven't eaten, I don't have food, I need money, CG for what? I prefer to send stuff. Like, I'd rather do shopping for you and send the shopping to you if you tell me I don't have food than send you money. And if you feel like that's selfish, then of course I can't dictate how you use money if I give it to you, but I'm just not comfortable sharing money with strangers. And then also I feel like it creates a habit, it creates, and people just don't ever think maybe mi niko na mashida zangu ami pesa yangu nafaa kufanyia vitu zingine. I can't just, I mean, yes, I am a giver, but it has to come from my heart, meaning I have to be comfortable and I have to have been filling my cup for me to even have the capacity to share. So someone who's never talked to me, or someone who we don't have that kind of rapport with, wouldn't know. They wouldn't know how I am financially. They wouldn't know if I was on my last two bob, but they're calling me when they need to be bailed out. Bro, what if I was dying? What if I was sick? What if I was going through depression? Now, any crazy. And you see, the crazy thing is my female friends. Wait, I'll get to that before I do any comparison. So I noticed, men are starting to borrow me money. And listen, I know men are human beings. Well, anytime I bring up conversations about emotions, they're always trying to fight me. Men are not supposed to be emotional. Let men be men. Do not force emotions on men. But okay, so then why would I have empathy for someone if they claim to be happy about not being emotional beings, first of all? And this is not general. It's in recent arguments I've had with men who argue about such things. Of course, grown men know better and they communicate and understand their emotions, and they are confident and comfortable being emotional beings. But not everyone is like that. And surely these men who borrow me money are not like that. This has happened to me twice. I'll tell you the other story in a bit. I'm not close with any man enough for them to even borrow me money. Maybe my dad and my brother, and that's fine. That's family. They don't even have to prove anything or show me anything. And even with them, I think it's important that they're able to. I mean, I know life happens. Sometimes uko chini, sometimes niko juu. But my family members, they've never in my life, they've never made me feel like, I don't know, like they need my money or they're going to take my money from me. If anything, they're consistently trying to provide and make my life easier and show me how to be a better provider for myself from watching them provide. So I sit and start to wonder that in a patriarchal world, a world that was literally created by men for men, how come my girls are more stable? The women in my life, no one has ever borrowed me money ati, niko kwa sijui wapi nimeshikwa, send me bail money. Sijui nini imefanyika. And when women borrow me money, it's usually, my bank is not working and they send the money right back after. Or it's not even a deni, because in my relationships with women, there is constant and consistent romance. If I pay today, you pay tomorrow. Today they bring me gifts. Let me tell you, the women in my life, them and I, we practice friendship actively. We're consistently gifting each other, loving each other, affirming each other, being romantic. My friends give me flowers, they cook me meals, they send me gifts, they treat me so well. It's a level of friendship where kitakatuke, it's not even a deni, it's not even the kind of relationship where I want my money back. Z, it's you sit and think about all the ways they've shown up for you, even all the things they do for you. You don't even feel bad about sharing and about being nice and about sending them that urgent 2K, because it's okay, it's all good. You easily know that when you're in that space next time, they're going to pull up for you. But I've never experienced this from these men who are unromantic and they borrow money from women. Let me tell you, I've only encountered two of them, but they've given me enough experience to be able to speak on all of them because it shocked me. And also, it just makes me start to wonder, like, what about me? If you look at me as a woman, and if you just look at me, what about me says that someone can use his base to borrow me money? It means I really need to rebrand. I can't imagine. Well, I can because it's happened. But imagine a man, hey babe, I need you to send me an urgent 2K. I don't know how to imitate a base, but it's just what? It's crazy. To be honest, I'm very spoiled and I'm used to it at home. I'm used to my parents providing and taking care of me. And that's exactly how I am about myself and the people I love. I provide and I protect for myself and for the people around me. And to be honest, I do not mind spoiling those who spoil me. But the men in my life get to enjoy it. My friends, my family, they get to enjoy the benefits of me experiencing good things as well because they are a constant in my life as friends, as family. They continue to show up. And so, like I said, spoiling people who spoil me is not a hard thing. It's the easiest thing to do. And again, it's not coming from a tit for tat perspective. It's just coming from this is the space that we've cultivated. This is the space we've created for each other. And it feels good to be able to be somewhere where I know I can get help, I can ask for help, and I can give. It's not even a gendered thing. And because of this, I do not feel like I need any man. So it makes me wonder, why would you start talking to me like kunikatia, start speaking with me, and you say you want me? You're talking all these words about, I want you, I want to be with you. And you've seen the kind of material, you've seen the kind of woman I am. And then you come into my life, but you don't want to be romantic because you're secretly broke and you're pretending to be something you're not. And then you start borrowing me money. I'll tell you guys a story in a bit. Unfortunately, because of my experiences and consistently improving my boundaries and my standards, okay, fortunately, but unfortunately for the losers, I already know how good it can get when a man wants you. I've already experienced it when someone is madly in love and passionate about me. The care is automatic. It doesn't feel forced or, it's not something you ask for. It's just there. The generosity, the kindness. And this is what inspires me as a woman to want to create the space where I'm able to nurture. So now imagine, especially in the beginning, when a man wants you, it's bliss. And this means I just can't settle for anything less. I'm used to the best and it only keeps getting better. So I met this guy one time and we dated for like a month. I mean, let me just say roughly a month. This man, immediately he met me, he had already proposed, like he was rushing into a relationship with me. He looked like my type. I mean, he's handsome, he looked rich, he was all these nice qualities, kind, affirming, respectful. Hizi tu vitu poa zenye mi naangalianga. And in that month, well, I do blame myself because I did see the red flags, but I think I kept ignoring them. I don't know if I was ignoring them or I just kept saying, let me do it for the plot so that I can see the story. But I remember very well feeling it deep in my heart that this was not going to go anywhere and I was not going to be serious about this relationship. But at the same time, I keep saying, let me just see where it goes. Let me see what I can do and what I can achieve with this relationship. But we started the dating on a very low note because he came to meet me at work. So we just sat at the cafeteria hapo and we had mandazi and chai, which is something I never do. Some people recognize me from talking about how I don't like going to dates at coffee places because I think it's too cheap for me. And I should have just stuck with that. But you see, people are always, what can I say, trying to downplay or to box you into something you're not. If you have low self esteem and you don't trust yourself enough, and people start saying, kona maringo, why are you like that? Why would you say you can't go to a date for such place? It's because I already knew when this date started on such a low note, I knew it could only get worse from here. He didn't really take time to prepare. I mean, circumstances didn't allow because I was working. I mean, later that night, he took me out to dinner. But even when we went to dinner, I was the only one who ate alone. He didn't buy himself food. And I ignored it, like I passed it off as maybe he's already eaten ameshiba. But now that I look back, I'm realizing maybe he just couldn't afford both our meals because even before I told him the restaurant I wanted to go to, he tried to suggest cheaper places. And in my head, I was wondering, at your age, with the car you're driving, with the way you're showing up, you've not built yourself like enough to be able to afford this because I could easily, Mimi, I could go and eat at that restaurant by myself. But then I was thinking, this man had been saying he wants to marry me, he wants to be, he wants me to be his wifey, whatever, whatever. I was thinking, you're ready for marriage and you can't afford a meal. Why? And what would make you think I'm the best candidate for such a marriage? where you can't even afford a meal. Anyway, at that time, I wasn't thinking he can't afford. I just passed it off as Ashakula, Ashashiba, and I let it go. But now when I look back, I did really keep ignoring the signs that I kept seeing. I kept passing them off as something else. But deep down, my intuition was blaring all the red flags. It was saying, beep, 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 be careful, look out, this guy might be crazy, something is happening. During this time, there were no dates, no flowers, no practical support. He stopped picking me up even when we were meeting up. And that already was showing me this guy is not serious. He's just a big talker because he used to do a lot of future faking. I'm going to marry you. I'm going to Nini. A friend of mine, she's called Seran. She's always telling me, Roberta, you're so easy to lie to because all someone needs to do is show you a little bit of romance and you fall for it. Well, partly it's true, but right now I think I'm wiser because I don't really fall for words. So every time he would say all these things, my friends, they want to meet you. I'm going to take you where. He never brought me around his friends, never brought me around his family, never showed me anything real or tangible in his life. And even where he lived was not matching his lifestyle and his car. It was just for someone who's younger, I think that could pass because you're still figuring it out. But someone of his age, it was just showing me red flags. This guy Ajajipanga, and Ata, if we're to get married, this is where we're gonna live. That's not something I was gonna pass because already I'm trying to give myself the best life on my own. So the only kind of guy I can be with is someone who's better than me, richer than me, because I need him to be secure for himself. It's not even about me having a rich husband or boyfriend. It's about him being, well, it is. I would love that. That's the only kind of person I would date. And I'm very honest about it. That's why I was wondering, Mimi Vile, I'm always saying I'm a self proclaimed gold digger. What about me is making these men think they can call me and ask me for money? It's crazy. That shocked me. This guy, in that span of 1 month, he had borrowed me money 4 times. And it was babe, can you send me 2K? I need CG, what, please. And I lied to him because first that message he didn't even have the audacity to call me and ask. And you see, he was doing a lot of future faking, a lot of speaking with words. Mimi, words bore me. Immediately you're telling me, darling, I love you, I miss you, and there's no action attached to it. I get so bored. He had never paid for an Uber I was using. He had never sent me money. One time it was just a test. I was just testing him to see if he'll do it. Well, maybe it's wrong to test people, but I truly feel like when a man loves you and he's serious about you, it becomes his number one priority to make sure you're very, very well taken care of. And I told him I wanted to buy some brioche buns and I needed some money. This man told me, Ati, maybe later. Another time I was with him and I needed to pay for my Uber when I was leaving him and my bank wasn't working. So I needed him to send me some money. And I told him, could you please send me some money? And he said, even me, my bank isn't working. So within this 1 month, he had never, other than the meals he paid for, he had never once given me anything, no dates, not even flowers. I love flowers. This guy had never once bought me even a flower. A flower is 20 bob. This man had never said, Shika 50 bob, come a credit, but he would consistently borrow me, babe, nisaidie na 2K. The other time he tells me, babe, I'm in the village, the CG, the bank network, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, you're a grown man. You're literally 12 years older than me. He's 40, 41. And you didn't think that ukienda ushago, you need to have cash. I told him next time just carry cash. I didn't give him the money. I gave him some lie about my friend, something, something, just some lie. He borrowed me some money again. Now he's graduated from 2K to 5K. He borrowed me some money again. And I ignored him. And then the fourth time he borrowed me money was the last time we spoke with each other. This guy tells me, by then, yani I had nilikuwa nishaboeka, ashanitoka, nashanga tu, kwani this man he tells me I need some 25K. I'll give it back to you next week. And then he used to complain about bills all the time. Like, oh my God, the bills are crazy. And then he would make jokes such as, when I would tell him, me, I've already paid all my bills. I pay them in time so that blah, blah, blah. Just during conversation, he would say, why don't you pay mine? He would pass it off as a joke, but he used to stay there for a while, like, babe. He would even follow up and ask me, babe, why don't you pay my bills? Pay my bills for me this time. Mama Wezi. Well, I wasn't quite sure how to take it. I didn't know if he was being serious ama it was a joke because kusema ukweli mimi mwanaume hajainiomba pesa. And it was so confusing to me. I would brush it off or laugh it off because there's no way I was going to believe that this grown ass man was asking me, literally in a patriarchy, in a world made for men. He's borrowing a young girl money. That showed me everything I needed to know. Something was wrong with this guy. Because not only does he have the experience and the head start of age, he also has the head start of him being a man. And even the car he drives, pretenders, they pretend to have, but they have nothing. So this guy tells me, babe, I need 25K. I'll give it to you next week. And in my head, I just told myself, it's time for me to block this guy. There's no way I can continue speaking with him. The conversation is over. And I simply just deleted him from my phone. The next day, he messages me, acting very disappointed. He can't believe that, we were in love and we love each other so much, but I couldn't even give him just 25,000 shillings. And he brought up the past times where he borrowed me money and I gave him excuses and I lied. Yani, there's times I would tell him I'm sick or I'm going to a funeral and he would still be waiting, like, babe, si utume ile pesa. And I'm wondering, kwambia mi ni mgonjwa ama niko kwa funeral. And you're not thinking, how can I make this girl feel better? Do I send her a fruit basket? Do I buy her something? Do I send her some food or a soup? Normal things me and my girls would do for each other. This is a man who wants to sleep with me, marry me. This is how he's acting. Of course, I could see he was devoid of empathy and feelings and care. And I could tell immediately that he did not like me. He did not want me. He probably just enjoyed the proximity to me. And he was probably thinking I was the kind of women who are lonely and desperate and I want to be loved. And I want to say I have a man so bad. Because he would say things like, I want to have babies with you. Mimi, I'm child free and I don't want kids. Maybe to another woman that would make you fall in love. But when he would say such things, I would just feel an ick. I would feel, hell no, I'm not in love. I don't want to have kids. I'm not ready. That's not really going to work on me. All the future faking and love bombing and saying all these right things. I'm not really the kind of girl who falls forwards before I see actions. There's no way you're getting me to do anything. I used to be a people pleaser and it took a lot for me to recover. I had to understand that I'm a very kind person and I'm very giving, but even that has to be very intentional. So there's no way I'm willing to pour into something that has never poured into me unless I know that it's going to make me feel good about myself because I have to care. I have to feel good as well. Why would I go where I'm not loved and not wanted and then I start giving him those urgent 2Ks and 5Ks and 25Ks? I'm not crazy. There's so many stories I've seen on TikTok of men conning women in this way. You meet a man and he'll even give you the money. He'll give you 100K, he'll give you 1K, and then one day he tells you, babe, vitu zimekwama kwa pot and I need 400,000. Please, please, please just give it to me. And because you guys have created that rapport of sharing and giving each other money, and he's been spoiling you rotten, you feel, okay, he's given me money and he's been spending on me. What's wrong with me giving him the money? The day you send that 400,000 is the last day you will hear from that man. It's the last time you will see him. The last. So it does not make sense to me for a 40-year-old man to be asking me for money. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe my younger brother who's 24, I can understand if he doesn't have some money. But a 40-year-old man, and then he's not going to borrow his fellow men. He's not going to borrow, all these men he was name dropping and talking, oh, I was with the minister of Suji where, Nani's son is my friend, the president's son, he's the one who's calling me, blah, blah, blah. And you can't ask all these other rich men for money. He sent me a long message about, I'm a guy who thinks about the future. And if I can't borrow my wife money, who else am I going to borrow? He also used to send me memes about Ati man shouldn't pay rent for his wife, such discourse. I've literally never had such arguments with men about yani the men who come into my life, all my exes, if I line them up, problem solvers, solution providers. They really fully take care of me. I have an ex who still sends me money and he does it. We don't even talk. We don't even talk. He's not even on this continent. He doesn't call me. He doesn't text me. Once in a while, he'll send me some money. Men who put money into my account even before they meet me, even before they send me a dress, they'll send me an outfit, shoes for a date before we meet, flowers. Very romantic. So much romance. But this guy wanted me to fall for him off words. That's crazy. It brings me to think about how it's as if these kind of people expect to have the benefits of friendship and relationships without putting in the work. Like I said, the reason I feel differently about my female friendships is the romance is consistent. If my girlfriend asks me for 2K urgently, I literally do not mind sending the money because she's probably shown up at my house with shopping. She's probably bought me food. She's probably cooked for me. She's probably visited me. She's probably come to see me. She's probably bought me flowers and sweets at some point of our relationship. Consistently, me and my friends, we go out to nice restaurants on a random Tuesday, any day. So, a man coming into my life and wanting me to drink hot cocoa and mandazi with him, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm so used to people putting so much effort into being with me. And that's the level and frequency I'm on with my other relationships. There's just no way I'm going to start dating someone or speaking with someone and then they lower my quality of life because they want me to start struggling to build with them. I'm not the kind of girl who builds with a man. I'm not going to start from scratch. I'm not going to date someone who's, trying things out. I'm also trying things out. I need someone who's better than me. I'm only attracted to men who are kind of established in the things that they're doing. They know what they want. They've been putting in the work because I'm putting in the work. I'm young. It's my time to focus on myself. Why would I start trying to build a man when he's in his 40s? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's not something I'm going to do. My exes consistently picked me up or send a driver. This nigga couldn't even pay for my Uber. So I just had to delete him from my phone. And to experience a girl who loves herself, you must truly love yourself too. Everything works against us women, but we still get the bag. And this security that we're chasing as women, when we say, I'm sorry, I cannot date a broke man or a man who doesn't have money, it's not about Maringo or it's not about me taking your money. It's for you more than it is for me. It's nice to see a grown man have his own things, do his own things, and not be dependent on other people. The same way as a woman, that's who I am. I'm not depending on anyone. I do my things, I pay my bills, I take myself out, I do nice things for myself. So I only can be with someone who's even better than me because I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to learn. Love and generosity should come from a mutual space of wanting to care for each other. But if you've never shown care to me, why would you expect? Yani uko jela, mimi nikutumie bail money bro, aujui kama hata niko na pesa ya chakula. This is what I've seen as a recovering people pleaser, that enyewe I just have to give myself. And the benefit of giving is to receive. Whether you give intentionally or not, it's always going to come back to you. That's what I truly believe. I think you can be mad at me, but I'm not really repeating cycles. I'm not doing the things I saw my mom and my grandma do. I want better. I do not want to be the breadwinner in a family where someone else is a leech. I do not want to age. I do not want to get autoimmune diseases because I'm taking care of a man who's way older than me, because I'm doing everything on my own financially. If I have to do everything by myself, I can be by myself. I don't want to be with anyone where they're lowering the quality of my life. It's not a must for me to be with a man or to be in a relationship. I like nice things. And the lesson I learned is if you start cheap, you can only go cheaper. Like if you start low, you can only go lower than that. And the more you're doing better as a woman, in my experience, I don't know if it's different for other people, the more I kept doing better as my partners. I've had to break up with some people because they get jealous and insecure. And I don't know, I don't get jealousy because I'm the kind of person who, if I admire what you're doing, I want to learn from you and do better. I don't sit and think, what can I do to make this person feel bad? And you'll start to notice it in the way they speak. They try to make you feel less. They try to put you down. This nigga would make comments like he would send me hairstyles the other women and say, why don't you try this? And it's a woman with a shaved head. And I'm wondering, this guy, he wants me to shave off my hair. He consistently compliments my natural hair and he knows how beautiful it is. And it's one of the reasons he says he loves the way I look. All of a sudden, he's sending me pictures of women wamenyoa. A weak woman would have gone and nyoad her hair or a pick me ndo aweze kuplease mwanaume wake. Mimi, I just deleted his number. That's not something I can stand for. It's so important to be big and bold and to demand exactly what you want. And especially if you're growing as a woman, you truly deserve a man who's better than you, nothing less than that. It's so sad that I have to talk about this. But I do, because I have to make it clear that I am not at all interested in being with anyone who cannot take care of themselves as an adult, especially financially. There's so many things we're dealing with already, like emotions, childhood trauma, addiction, CG what. And then now we start from a space of we don't have money. No, you're not ready for a girl like me, because I need collaboration and partnership. I do not want to raise anyone. I do not want to make anyone grow. I think in a relationship, we should all come grown, healed, healing rather, in a position where we are consistently both trying to be better. Because I'm not looking for handouts, and I don't expect a man, especially, to try and leech from me. And next time you're borrowing someone money, especially a woman, make sure you've invested in them. Make sure. There's this guy I dated like 5 years ago. He was very, of course, all the men I date are very rich. And this guy, he would take me to nice fancy dates. But one time he took me to a kibanda date. And I remember leaving that date thinking, why did he bring me to this kibanda? This is not somewhere I've go. And I used to eat at kibandas. Si ati kuna shida na kibanda. Ni venye siku hizi niko na tumbo sensitive, and I just need to move my food is a bit cleaner, like the standards of hygiene are a bit higher. And I was wondering, why would he take me to a kibanda without asking me? I left that date feeling like he was my boyfriend at the time. We'd been together for a few months. And actually, it's the guy who I'm saying is the ex who he doesn't talk to me, but he sends me money. This guy, I left that date feeling like something was wrong. Like maybe he was testing me to see if I'm a ride or die. I can eat at fancy restaurants and at kibandas. Bro, don't test me. I'm not the girl you test. That's the feeling I have. I don't know if he was testing me, but when I went home and thought about it, I broke up with him. I just said, I'm sorry. You didn't care. Like you already know my standards and you know where I like to go and the things I like to do, but you intentionally decided to bring me somewhere you know I wouldn't be comfortable. I didn't get sick, but I just thought, no, I'm not giving him another chance to take me to another kibanda, because immediately we're only going to start eating at kibandas from now on, and that's not my standard. So I had to let it go. Another guy I dated also. Hey. He was generous and he does take care of me, and he's always, gifting me and stuff. And he asked me one time, can you please buy for me lunch? So generally I would have had no problem, buying this guy lunch, because he's been consistent in taking care of me. But there's just something deep inside me where tells me, if I'm not feeling safe emotionally, if I'm not feeling like you're consistent in how you speak with me. You could have been spoiling me and whatever, but if I'm not feeling safe enough, then I don't trust you enough, because what are you doing? Are you trying to test if I can send you money? Because like I said, this world is created for men. He couldn't have borrowed other men in his life. He couldn't have asked them. Why ask me? Why ask a woman? I literally have so many problems. We're not even paid anywhere near what men are paid. Like, was he testing me? He's way richer than me. So, was he testing me? Why was he asking me for money? I had to break that off again. So, please don't test people like me. Just be a consistent friend. That's enough. Be a good person. If I can feel your intentions are genuine and you're a kind person, you're going to enjoy what I have, because I will give without restriction. I will give without thinking twice. If you are a constant, support in my life and you're actively in my life, that's a rapport we've probably built where we're able to share and take care of each other. But out of nowhere, that's not happening. And I don't want men to borrow me money again unless they are a significant part of my life, which even that is crazy, because even the men in my life don't. I've never. Yeah, I don't want to, Zoesha. Just be a man. You're always talking about, I'm a man, I'm a man. Just be a man all the way. Be a man, stand on the patriarchy, and just keep being a man. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. These are just my feelings. You'll tell me what you think, and then we can talk about it later. So leave comments, tell me what you think. Maybe I was harsh, but I just spoke up my mind, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this. So catch me next time. Toodles.